What if those little daily habits, the things you barely think about, what if they're actually silently working against your joints, making things like infectious arthritis, well, much worse? Today, we're going deep. A really crucial deep dive into some surprising things many seniors might be consuming or, doing every day without realizing the impact, and our insights. They come straight from Dr. Lisa. She's a traditional Eastern medicine practitioner, over 20 years experience. She's seen this stuff firsthand, the real effect on joint health. It's quite eye-opening.
And infectious arthritis, septic arthritis. It's serious. It hits thousands of seniors every year, and it can be really, really debilitating. Pain, long-term damage. The core problem, and this is what Dr. Lisa's work really highlights, is that certain foods, certain habits, they don't just cause inflammation. They actually create this internal environment where bacteria can just thrive in your joints. And at the same time, they weaken your body's own defenses. So today we'll break down 4 key categories, these sort of joint saboteurs, but importantly, we'll also talk about natural alternatives, things that can genuinely make a difference.
Right. And I'm genuinely excited to unpack these hidden culprits, because this isn't about, complicated medical speak. It's about giving you a clear roadmap, understanding that direct link between, well, what you eat, how you live, and how your joints feel. Vitality, really. This deep dive, it's really meant to be your shortcut. Practical knowledge, maybe a greater sense of control over your joint health as you age.
Okay, let's kick off then. Category 1. Something probably in most kitchens right now. Added sugars and refined carbs. Dr. Lisa, in her practice, she saw this really striking pattern, didn't she? Patients with septic arthritis, if they ate a lot of sugar.
Yeah, they struggled more. It was consistent. More severe symptoms, definitely longer recovery times. And those painful flare-ups, they just kept coming back for those patients. It really makes you think.
It really does. And there's science behind why now, right?
Absolutely. The science backs it up. So when you eat added sugar, your blood sugar spikes, obviously. And this creates these sticky compounds. They're called advanced glycation end products. Let's just call them AGs. It's easier.
AGs.
Yeah.
Think of them like tiny toxic magnets.
Yeah.
They literally cling onto your joint tissues.
Wow.
And they create this incredibly welcoming environment for bacteria, especially Staphylococcus aureus. That's a big one in infectious arthritis. It helps it multiply really fast.
So the sugar feeds the bacteria, essentially.
In a way, yes, and it creates the right conditions. But here's the double whammy. Sugar doesn't just invite the invaders
Welcome
in,
to Hidden Dangers,
it also
sugar
sort
and
of
sodium's impact on joint health.
ties up your
Today
body's
we're diving
security
deep into how
system,
2
your immune
common
system.
dietary
How does it do
culprits
that?
might be
Well, just
secretly
one
wreaking
sugary
havoc on
meal
your joints,
can actually
leading to
suppress your immune
inflammation
function for
and
up to
even
5
infection.
hours.
5 hours. That's huge.
It is a huge window of vulnerability. And think about seniors, their immune response naturally slows down a bit with age anyway.
Yeah.
So that suppression is particularly damaging.
Okay, so the key takeaway isn't just calories. It's that sugar physically changes the joint environment, making it a bacterial playground, and it weakens your defenses.
Precisely. It compromises your body's ability to fight back.
And the scary part is where these sugars hide. It's not just, candy bars or cake. Think about the morning routine, that healthy flavored yogurt.
Oh yeah, that can pack what, up to 6 teaspoons of added sugar?
6. And some breakfast cereals, even ones marketed as healthy, 4 or 5 teaspoons easily.
And orange juice, a
Yeah.
classic breakfast drink.
8 teaspoons in a standard glass. It just hits your system so fast, it adds up incredibly quickly before you've even really started your day.
It really does. It doesn't stop at breakfast. Lunchtime, think condiments.
Ketchup.
Ketchup, yeah. About a teaspoon of sugar in just 2 tablespoons. Things like BBQ sauce, sweet and sour, even many salad dressings can have 2-3 teaspoons or more.
Sneaky sources.
Very.
Yeah.
Dinner, too. Prepared sauces, marinades, even some canned vegetables might have added sugar. Pasta sauce, for example, can easily add another 2 or 3 teaspoons per half-cup serving.
And then there's evening habits. Alcohol.
Right. Wine, beer. It converts to sugar in your system. Fuels inflammation. Contributes to that morning stiffness a lot of people feel. We saw this so clearly with one of Dr. Lisa's patients, Maria. 68, diabetic, really struggling with recurring knee infections. Antibiotics weren't working as well anymore. And she was eating a lot of sugar.
She was, but without really realizing the total amount. It turned out to be over 20 teaspoons a day, hidden in various foods. Her blood sugar was constantly high, creating that perfect breeding ground we talked about.
So what happened when she changed things?
She gradually cut out the added sugars, replaced them with naturally sweet things like berries. Berries are great, full of these things called anthocyanins that actually fight inflammation.
Then the result?
Significant drop in joint pain within about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And the best part, she hasn't had a single flare-up in over 2 years now.
That's incredible, a real testament, and it highlights why this is especially risky for seniors, doesn't it?
It does. As we age, our bodies just aren't as efficient at processing sugar. So the same amount that might cause, say, mild inflammation in a younger person, it can trigger a much more severe inflammatory response in someone over 60. Your joints are more vulnerable.
And the bacteria literally feed on the excess glucose.
Exactly. It creates this damaging cycle. High sugar leads to inflammation. Inflammation damages the joint tissue.
Which makes it more susceptible to infection.
And the infection creates even more inflammation. It's a feedback loop. It can go from discomfort to chronic pain and repeated infections quite quickly.
Is there research on this link?
Oh yes. Research from the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, shows that people with consistently high blood sugar have nearly triple the risk of complications from infectious arthritis.
Triple the risk?
The bacteria don't just survive in that sugary environment, they absolutely thrive.
Okay, that's a really powerful reason to look at sugar intake. Now, obviously, reducing added sugar seems like a key step. But it's crucial, isn't it, to talk to your doctor, especially if you have diabetes or other conditions.
Always. Absolutely essential. Consult your doctor before making big dietary changes.
But the message is pretty clear on sugar. And maybe you're listening and thinking, okay, I watch my sugar. But what about salt? Because our second category is excessive sodium. And this one, it might genuinely surprise you, especially if you think you're eating a heart-healthy diet.
That's right. Many heart-healthy labeled foods can actually be loaded with sodium.
The American Heart Association recommends, what, less than 2,300 milligrams a day?
Correct. But the average senior, often consuming over 3,500 milligrams, sometimes much more.
And this isn't just about blood pressure, is it? There's a direct link to joint infections.
There is. It's a hidden connection. Here's how it works, basically. Too much sodium makes your body hang on to excess fluid. Now, that doesn't just mean, puffy ankles. It actually increases the pressure inside your joint spaces.
Okay, pressure inside the joint. What does that do?
Well, that increased pressure reduces crucial blood flow to the joint tissues. Less blood flow means less oxygen. And these oxygen-poor environments, they're perfect for certain harmful bacteria to multiply without much interference.
Like creating little hidden pockets for them.
Sort of, yeah. But there's more. Recent research suggests high sodium can actually mess with your immune system in complex ways. It might suppress some important immune responses while triggering others unnecessarily. It's like turning down your security system in some areas while setting off false alarms in others. Your defenses get confused and less effective against real threats.
That makes sense. And again, the sources are often things we don't suspect. Breakfast, for example. Instant oatmeal.
Can be surprisingly high. 400, maybe 500 milligrams per packet.
Add some turkey sausage, maybe a glass of vegetable juice.
Yeah, turkey sausage can be 600 milligrams, V8 juice around 700 milligrams. You could easily hit your entire daily limit or close to it before 9 a.m.
Wow. And soup, often seen as a comforting, maybe healthy meal.
The soup trap. A single can of regular chicken noodle soup can have, a staggering 2,400 milligrams of sodium. That's more than the daily recommendation in one go.
Even the low sodium ones aren't always that low, are they?
No, they can still have 1,200, 1,500 milligrams. You really have to read the labels carefully.
And what about bread? We don't usually think of bread as salty.
But it is. This surprises most people.
Yeah.
Your regular sandwich bread, maybe 200, 300 milligrams per slice. A bagel could be 500 or 600 milligrams.
So a sandwich could easily be 600 milligrams just from the bread.
Easily. In fact, bread and baked goods are collectively the largest source of sodium in the typical American diet. People don't realize that.
That's astonishing. And deli meats.
Oh, definitely. Processed meats like deli turkey, maybe 600 to 800 milligrams in just 2 slices. Ham can be even higher, 900 to 1,200 milligrams.
It adds up so fast, and
Yeah.
eating out or packaged meal.
Forget about it sometimes. Restaurant meals, especially things like Chinese takeout, can hit 4,000, 5,000, even 6,000 milligrams in one single meal. Frozen dinners often range from 800 to 1,500 milligrams.
So it's everywhere.
It really is. We saw this impact with Robert, another patient of Dr. Lisa's. 72, former construction worker, plagued by recurring ankle infections. He'd been hospitalized 3 times in 2 years. Antibiotics seemed to be working less and less each time.
And his sodium intake.
Through the roof.
Right.
Over 5,000 milligrams a day, consistently. Lots of processed foods, canned soups, deli meats. His body was constantly retaining fluid, joints under pressure, immune system struggling.
What happened when he cut back?
He started gradually reducing it, swapping processed stuff for fresh alternatives, simple roasted chicken, making his own bone broth, unsalted nuts. The change was remarkable. Within about 4 weeks, he said his joints felt less stiff, the swelling went down noticeably, and about 6 months later, he felt a minor flare-up starting, but this time, it actually resolved on its own. No hospitalization needed.
That's huge. So breaking it down, what does reducing sodium actually do for your joints? What's the science?
Okay, so when you lower sodium, 1, blood flow to your joints improves. Better delivery of oxygen, nutrients, infection-fighting cells. 2, your lymphatic system, think of it as your body's waste removal system, works better. It can flush out toxins and bacteria more efficiently. And 3, crucially, your immune system isn't constantly stressed by sodium-induced inflammation. It can focus its resources on fighting actual infections. It's like a system reset.
A reset. I like that. And again, is this particularly important for seniors?
Yes, very much so. Because with age, kidney function naturally changes. We don't excrete excess sodium as efficiently as when we were younger, so that high sodium meal, it sticks around longer, causing more prolonged inflammation and immune disruption compared to a younger person.
And medication interactions.
That's another key point. Many common senior medications, certain blood pressure meds, anti-inflammatories, even some antibiotics can interact negatively with high sodium levels. This can worsen joint inflammation or potentially make the treatments less effective. It really creates this cycle: fluid retention, poor blood flow, stressed immune system, setting the stage for tougher infections.
Okay, so again, the advice is talk to your doctor before making drastic cuts, especially with heart or blood pressure issues.
Absolutely critical. Always consult your physician.
But for many, gradually reducing sodium, maybe upping potassium-rich foods like bananas, leafy greens, avocados to help balance things out, that can make a real difference.
A significant difference, yes.
Right. Sugar, salt. Now, you might expect us to talk about fried foods next, the obvious unhealthy fats. But our third category is actually more deceptive. It involves fats that many seniors might actually think are healthy choices. This third category, inflammatory fats, is maybe the most deceptive. Dr. Lisa found this heartbreaking, actually. Seeing seniors trying so hard to eat right, following maybe low-fat or heart-healthy advice, but their joint pain and infections were getting worse, it feels like a betrayal.
It really does. And the shocking truth is that many common cooking oils, even some promoted as healthy, can trigger massive inflammatory responses, especially in seniors. There are a couple of key problems. One is the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. Many oils are way too high in omega-6. But the other really critical issue is what happens when these oils are heated.
Heated, like just in normal cooking.
Exactly. Even at moderate cooking temperatures, certain oils break down and form toxic compounds, things called lipid peroxides and aldehydes.
Lipid peroxides and aldehydes. Okay, what are those?
Think of them as like tiny particles of toxic sludge or exhaust. They can accumulate in your joint tissues over time. They create chronic, low-grade inflammation, making your joints much more vulnerable to bacterial invasion. For someone with infectious arthritis, it's like pouring gasoline on an already smoldering fire.
Wow. So which oils are the worst offenders here?
Well, that generic vegetable oil is often a big one. It's usually mostly soybean oil, which can have 50 or even 60 times more inflammatory omega-6 than anti-inflammatory omega-3.
50 to 60 times? That imbalance creates problems.
A huge problem. It pushes your body to produce more inflammatory signals called prostaglandins, which directly worsen joint infections.
Okay, what about canola oil, often marketed as healthy?
That's the controversy.
Hmm.
While it might look okay on paper cold, when canola oil is heated, especially repeatedly or to high temps, it can become highly inflammatory. It forms those toxic aldehydes we mentioned, and they can actually linger in your system for weeks.
Weeks, okay. And margarine or spreads?
Often contain harmful trans fats or partially hydrogenated oils. These are bad news. They directly increase inflammation, and they can actually block your body's ability to absorb and use the good omega-3 fats.
So they're doubly harmful.
Exactly. And think about eating out. Restaurants often use the cheapest oils, heat them very high, and reuse them.
Creating more of those toxic compounds.
Absolutely. So that seemingly healthy grilled fish or chicken salad might be cooked in oil that's essentially become toxic.
And processed foods, crackers, cookies, chips, even some healthy snacks.
They often contain these oils too, and the oils might have already been damaged during the high heat manufacturing process before they even get to your kitchen. Pre-damaged oils. Eleanor's story really brings this home. She was 74, dealing with recurring hip infections. She was diligently following a low-fat diet.
Thinking she was doing the right thing.
Completely. Using vegetable oil for cooking, margarine instead of butter. Her breakfast was toast with margarine, maybe a salad with commercial dressing for lunch, baked fish cooked in vegetable oil for dinner.
All seemingly healthy choices.
But those choices were creating a constant inflammatory storm in her joints. So we worked with her on strategic oil changes.
What did she change to?
Swapped the vegetable oil for extra virgin olive oil, but only for low-heat cooking or dressings. For higher heat, she switched to avocado oil. Used small amounts of real grass-fed butter instead of margarine. Made her own simple dressings.
And the impact.
Remarkable. Within about 8 weeks, she reported about 60% less morning stiffness, more energy, and interestingly, about 4 months later, she felt a minor flare-up starting in her hip.
Oh.
But this time it resolved quickly on its own. No antibiotics needed, just by changing the fats she was consuming.
That's compelling. The science behind that must be about reducing the inflammatory load.
Exactly. When you ditch those inflammatory oils, several things happen. Your cell membranes become more flexible and healthy. You have fewer inflammatory compounds circulating. Your body can produce more of the healing prostaglandins, the ones that reduce inflammation, and your immune system just functions more efficiently overall. It's a system-wide upgrade.
Like taking the brakes off your body's healing mechanisms. And again, why is this especially critical for seniors?
Because, just like with sugar and salt, our bodies become less efficient at neutralizing these inflammatory compounds as we age. Damaged fats that might cause minor issues for a younger person can trigger much more severe lasting inflammation in someone over 60.
Medication interactions here too.
Potentially, yes. These inflammatory processes can sometimes interfere with how medications work, including blood thinners, anti-inflammatories, and possibly even antibiotics. So the key insight here is, consuming these damaged inflammatory fats doesn't just fuel inflammation, it actively hinders your immune system's ability to protect your joints, makes them a prime target.
Okay, so if we're avoiding those, what are the most beneficial oil alternatives, and how should we prepare foods?
Great question. For low heat use, dressings, drizzling extra virgin olive oil is fantastic. It's packed with polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that fight inflammation. Make sure it's extra virgin.
Got it. What about for higher heat cooking?
Avocado oil is excellent. High smoke point, rich in healthy monounsaturated fats. Coconut oil is another option. It contains lauric acid, which has some natural antimicrobial properties.
And getting good fats from whole foods.
Absolutely essential. Omega-3 powerhouses. Think wild-caught fatty fish like salmon and sardines. Walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds are great plant-based sources. These directly counteract inflammation.
And cooking methods, beyond just the oil.
Yes. Gentle cooking methods are key. Steaming, poaching, moderate roasting instead of high heat frying or grilling. Preserves nutrients and avoids creating those toxic compounds in the first place, regardless of the oil. You know, a really key insight here is that changing your fats isn't just about cutting inflammation. It's also about giving your immune system the actual building blocks it needs. Healthy fats are crucial for effective infection fighting, for proper cell function, hormone production, tissue repair. It's a foundational support.
Foundational support, that makes sense. And again, a reminder to check with your doctor, especially if you're on blood thinners, as some oils, particularly fish oil supplements, can affect clotting.
Correct. Always consult your physician.
Okay. Sugar, salt, inflammatory fats. We've covered some major dietary ground. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, isn't there? It's not just about what you eat, it's also about how you live.
Exactly. Our fourth category is these lifestyle habits. Often overlooked, but incredibly powerful.
And Dr. Lisa saw that the worst joint infections, the really devastating ones, often happen when poor diet met these, let's call them lifestyle accelerators.
That's a good term for them. They combine with diet to create that perfect storm where infectious arthritis can really take hold and thrive, stealing independence, stealing joy.
So what are the most dangerous lifestyle habits Dr. Lisa identified?
Well, number one is probably sedentary patterns, just not moving enough. Long periods of inactivity reduce blood flow to the joints. This can create stagnant areas where bacteria might multiply more easily. Think about hours spent sitting, watching TV, reading.
Creates those little pockets again.
Exactly. Then there's poor sleep quality. This is huge. Sleep deprivation directly suppresses immune function and increases inflammation markers throughout the body. We see in studies that seniors getting less than, say, 6 hours of quality sleep per night have significantly higher rates of complications from infectious arthritis.
Sleep is when the body repairs itself.
It absolutely is. Crucial repair time for the immune system. Then, chronic stress. We underestimate this one. When you're chronically stressed, your cortisol levels stay high. High cortisol suppresses immune function and increases inflammation. Bacteria love that environment.
So stress literally makes your body more hospitable to infection.
It does. Dehydration is another one. Many seniors simply don't drink enough water. This can thicken the synovial fluid, the natural lubricant in your joints. It reduces nutrient delivery and makes it harder for your body to flush out toxins and bacteria.
Simple hydration makes a difference.
A big difference. And finally, the obvious ones. Smoking and excessive alcohol. Both severely compromise your immune system, interfere with healing processes. Alcohol can also mess with how well antibiotics work.
Okay, that sounds like a daunting list. Sedentary, poor sleep, stress, dehydration, smoking, alcohol.
It can sound daunting, but here's the really inspiring truth, the message we really want you to hear. Every single one of those factors, they are largely within your control. Dr. Lisa has seen incredible turnarounds when seniors start addressing these lifestyle pieces alongside diet. It's absolutely never too late to start making positive changes.
That's empowering. So what's the natural approach that actually works? What steps can people take?
Start with gentle movement. It doesn't have to be intense, even just 10-15 minutes of walking a day, or simple chair exercises if mobility is limited. That consistent movement dramatically improves joint circulation. Dr. Lisa observed patients reducing their infection recurrence rate by nearly 40% just by adding regular, gentle movement.
40% just from movement. That's significant. What about sleep?
Prioritize sleep hygiene. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality rest. Dark room, cool temperature, consistent bedtime. Remember, your immune system does its heavy lifting, its repair work, during deep sleep.
And stress. Easier said than done sometimes.
True. But even small steps help. Find what works for you. Maybe it's 5-10 minutes of quiet meditation, gentle Tai Chi, deep breathing exercises, or just spending some peaceful time in nature. It helps lower that cortisol.
Okay. And hydration.
Stay hydrated with purpose. Aim for around 8 glasses of water throughout the day. Maybe add a tiny pinch of natural sea salt and a squeeze of lemon to your water that can help with cellular hydration and electrolyte balance. The key is that these natural approaches, they work together with appropriate medical treatment. They create the best possible internal environment for healing.
Supporting the body's own ability to fight back, and again, always best to check with your doctor before making big lifestyle changes, especially with existing health conditions.
Always the wise approach.
So let's bring this all together. Your journey to, let's call it joint freedom, it really can start now. Infectious arthritis, or the risk of it doesn't have to dictate your life as you age. By tackling these hidden factors, the sugar, the salt, the inflammatory fats, the lifestyle habits you're giving your body, powerful tools. Tools to reduce inflammation naturally, strengthen your immune system, and truly reclaim a more active, comfortable, pain-free life.
Absolutely. And we really believe in the body's incredible capacity to heal and rebalance when it gets the right support. You know, the patients who see the most profound, lasting changes, they're usually the ones who make gradual, sustainable shifts. Not trying to overhaul everything overnight. Maybe just start with one thing. Focus on cutting back added sugars this week. Then next week, look at switching your cooking oil. Small steps build momentum. You genuinely have the power to support your health and vitality for years ahead.
So as you reflect on our deep dive today, consider this. Which of these 4 categories, the sugar, the salt, the fats, or the lifestyle habits, which one surprised you the most? Could making a small, consistent shift in that specific area be the key for you? The key to unlocking a significant improvement in your joint health, transforming not just your physical comfort, but maybe your entire outlook on aging well and living life to the fullest. Think about one small step you can take, maybe starting today.